Hey, what's going on? There's just a few things I wanted to talk about. I got kind of motivated to make some videos after watching a couple other people's agoraphobia videos on YouTube, and I saw some poor young lady crying her eyes out. I saw another bestseller for USA Today or the New York Times or whatever it is, and her dealing with agoraphobia and so many others in between. And I'm gonna have to do some editing. I never script these things, but I'm just going off the top of my head here. It's not like I really have something specific to say, like a certain topic. I just wanted to talk about agoraphobia in general, and I have a hard time looking into the camera. I'm sorry about that. And also, I'm sorry I'm all up in your face. You would laugh if you seen the way I'm recording this right now with my iPhone bungee corded to my sun visor. But whatever, I felt, I'm rambling. Anyway, we're not defeated. I don't know how many times I got to say this, in my videos, but my videos don't get that many views. It's not about popularity. It's about reaching people that need to hear it. And maybe I do reach people that need to hear it, but they don't need to hear me. Maybe my message isn't necessarily for them. But maybe there is a couple people out there who my message is for. So if I have 5 views for 5 months and then I get a sixth view and I helped, that sixth person maybe realize something, maybe look at something a little differently or something like that, then, it's worth it to me. I have no way of knowing. Most people listen to your video for or watch your video for, I don't know what the retention time is on YouTube, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and whatever. And I can't get everything I want to say out in 3 or 5 minutes unless I do some major editing and cutting out a lot of meat that I think needs to go out there. But you got to realize, I got to realize it too when I'm going through it. We are undefeated. Every time we have faced certain death through our panic attacks, we were 100% sure we were going to end up in the emergency room getting those little shocker paddles, to jumpstart our heart. We were going to meet God, everything else. We're terrified. Yet here we are, you know. That's a victory. And, I talk a lot about exposure therapy. I love exposure therapy. Because you can't fail at exposure therapy. In my opinion, you can't. If my exposure therapy is to go 7 miles away from my house, which is really pushing it for me, and I make it 3 miles to my house, I still went 3 miles. I mean, yeah, I didn't necessarily leave my comfort zone or anything, but I did something about it. I did tackle my agoraphobia on that day. And one thing I got to keep going. Oh, and just an update for a few people who are following. I need to continue practicing because I did make my doctor's appointments. And yesterday I got excellent news in the mail that they are continuing my disability, that they feel that it's still necessary. And I was terrified that they were going to discontinue it because I've never had a review like this done before. So that part is out of the way. I'd kind of like to get a job in the real world to challenge my anxiety, my agoraphobia, but the way the circumstances are in my house right now, it's just not a good time for that. I have a 10-year-old son who I'm homeschooling, and my two daughters work or go out, and their mother works, and on the weekends she'll go out or whatever. So there's no time for me to work. There's, 10 years old, I can't leave my son at home alone at that age. And the fact of the matter is, I can't go out and earn the dough, that that would make it worth that. I don't want to take away from, my kids or my kids' mother, or anything, with them doing their life. I'm so happy. I'm so blessed. My kids are working, and because they grew up seeing their dad being a bump on a log. I just really picked up this exposure therapy thing recently. So most of the time I just sat home and felt sorry for myself. And I still do. Agoraphobia is a very lonely condition to have, and I don't like being lonely. And I don't like being away from my family, so I got a little bit of a catch-22 there. But I just I wish that the government, or the people that review people that need assistance, would take agoraphobia a little bit more seriously. They forced me to go to a doctor's office that was out of my comfort zone. In hindsight, it was awesome. I did it. I was able to, take care of, what I had to take care of. And I proved to myself that I was a lot stronger than I really thought I was. But, it was terrifying leading up to it. I was like, oh my God, what if I don't make this appointment? What if I, have a panic attack on that day or whatever? So I got in the car, and it was like almost 5.5 miles away. And I drove it every day, and I only had a week's notice because of other circumstances. Normally you don't have a week's notice. You get a lot longer notice, but I'm not going to bore you with the details of that. Anyway, yeah, I had about 5 or 6 days. I practiced every single day. And the first day it was very hard. The second day it was hard. The third day felt like a breakthrough. And after that, that was, it was easier to go through the appointment than it was practicing on those first couple days. So practice does make perfect. Obviously with agoraphobia, I think that you kind of develop social phobia because you're so used to, you're not really blowing off your friends, but that's kind of how they see it. So you lose a lot of friends, you lose touch with a lot of people. Really, it seems like the only friends I have are Facebook friends, from like when I was a kid and everything. People that I swore I'd never lose touch with, I've lost touch with. They've invited me to go hang out, do whatever. And it just, the agoraphobia, I turned them down so many times I don't even get invited now. One of them's actually mad at me because, they think, I don't know, if they think I'm too good for them, or they think that I think I'm too good for them. That's not the case at all. They just don't understand it. And, a lot of family doesn't understand it. A lot of friends don't understand it. You get the mind over matter, type things, or, suck it up, buttercup, or, whatever it is that the people around you tell you need to do. Some people are just like, you just got to do it, and that's more terrifying. That makes it worse. They think they're helping, but you get someone telling you, you've got to do something. Well, now all of a sudden that puts responsibility on you. And then, it's just like you really go haywire, because now not only are you going to fail for yourself, but you're also going to fail in terms of, their expectations. And, you don't want to put more pressure on it. So maybe not only people with agoraphobia or social phobia or generalized anxiety or anything else that's out there that could relate to this, maybe they're not the only ones that are going to see it. Maybe someone who has a child or a friend or a spouse that's dealing with it, might want to see the point of view, and maybe get some tips on how to handle things. Sorry, I'm not really looking into the camera. Like I said, with the setup, man, the camera's right in my face. And when I do look at the camera, like I am right now, I look like I'm cross-eyed, and I'm not cross-eyed. It's just, I'm trained in on this little dot I hate that. Anyway, this channel isn't going anyway the way I thought it was going to go. I really wanted to talk about God. I didn't want to talk about my problems. I didn't want to talk about anyone's, problems as far as overcoming anxiety and doing exposure therapy or talking about anxiety, but that's just kind of the way it went. And I do have a lot to say about God, but I feel like I got a base going here already, and I kind of feel like I'm a professional when it comes to agoraphobia, because I've dealt with it for a good 15 to 20 years, and there's been ups and downs. And Facebook has that memory thing, look at what you posted 5 years ago today and everything. And looking at that, sometimes I have my ups and sometimes I have my downs because, I'll look and I'll go, oh my God, if you know what I'm dealing with, me making it to here is such a big deal. And, now that's a place I can go to. And, I look a couple years earlier, a couple years later than that, and I see, that I made it 12 miles away from my house or 13 or 14 miles away from my house, and then I feel like I'm not progressing like I should be progressing. But, what it comes down to is, how do you feel inside? Do you feel like you're doing what you can? I mean, right now I think I am doing all I can. If I tried to go 14 miles out, it would be disastrous. It would be a huge setback. It's not even a goal of mine right now. Right now, my goal is to maintain this 5 to 7 mile radius around my house. And, if I'm having a bad day, I'm still going to try it. Because if I don't, then, it shrinks and it's a war. We're at war with anxiety. And my God, I look so cross-eyed in this thing. I'm getting off track. But yeah, we're at war with our own minds, I mean, it's telling us all this fake stuff like, hey, there's these invisible lines. Some people can't leave their house or their apartment. I was so bad at one point that I couldn't leave my bedroom, except for to use the bathroom or whatever. And, it didn't last very long. I think like one of the more, one that really bothered me was a gas station that's not even a mile away, the closest gas station to my house. And I was terrified to go to that gas station, go inside, buy what I had to buy, get the gas and leave. But I did it. And when I did it, it was an amazing feeling because the punishment that I put my body through, because agoraphobia or all phobias, all anxieties takes a toll on your body. You go out and have a panic attack, you'll sleep like a baby. You'll get, assuming that you're not going to bed with a panic attack and staying up all night and everything, worrying about it. But, if you go through a panic attack and then you get over it and you're calm and everything's fine, then yeah, you'll sleep like a baby. But I mean, the biggest advice I could give to fellow fellow agoraphobes, or post-traumatic stress disorder, or and everything else, OCD, just push yourself, because one day you're going to find that you pushed yourself further than you thought was possible. You're going to find that you pushed yourself to where a year or two earlier, you didn't even think that, it was possible to get to that point. You got to take little steps. You got to secure your boundaries. It's a war. You got to claim your territory. You've got to defend your boundaries. And then you have to push. You have to invade new territory. And, I don't want to get politically correct or anything. I mean, I'm not pro-war or anything like that. I know some crazy people think, oh, whatever. But it's a war of your mind, and you need to take control of your life. And you can take control of your life, but everyone's going to do it at their own pace. It might take you 6 months to get this under control. It might take you 50 years. Who cares if it takes you 50 years as long as you're moving in a positive direction? And you're moving in a positive direction as long as you're trying. That's all I ask that you do for yourself. You're not doing it for me, you're doing it for yourself. Try something every day. And at the minimum, and I don't care if you do the minimum all the time, at the minimum, go to the edge of your comfort zone. And if you don't feel like going one street past it, if you don't feel like taking 2 steps out of the, front door, or whatever whatever your boundaries are, just challenge them. Let them know you're there. Let them feel your presence. I made friends with another guy who watched one of my videos down in Miami. Big Marlins fan. Can't remember his YouTube name, right off the top of my head, but I enjoyed watching his videos. And, I didn't even see anything about anxiety. He was just ranting on the Marlins, and that was kind of, cool to see, because just seeing him do his channel, he kind of looked like a sportscaster or something like that. I would have never thought in a million years that guy had agoraphobia, and he reached out to me in the comments, and that was just awesome. And we need a community, we need to be united through some form of social media so we can keep in contact with each other. Facebook, I'm a member of this Facebook group called, I don't know, if you put agoraphobia in the search group, it's got to be one of the biggest ones. Time to Escape or something like that. I don't know, because I'm always in it. It's kind of like I don't even know my kid's phone number or my house phone number, because I just press on their name. Same thing with this, it just pops up in my feed because I'm looking at them all the time. And we give each other encouragement, and, we hear good stories of breakthrough. We hear bad stories where, someone's going through something and needs, some sort of help, some sort of pick me up. And then, I just got another dose today, like I said earlier, on YouTube, watching a couple people who suffer from agoraphobia and the way they were dealing with it. I wanted to cry seeing this one poor girl, because, a lot of observers would look at her and be like, my God, what a drama queen, or she's overreacting and this and that. And I feel for her, because I've been there. I've been the drama queen, king. I've been, I've been in that spot. My family has left to go on vacation without me. If I didn't feel bad enough that I couldn't go and share that experience with my kids, not only that, I was terrified that, oh my God, I'm going to be in an empty house for, 7 days, or, however long it is. My family's going on an airplane, and I'm glass is half empty kind of guy most of the time. Oh my God, what if the plane crashes? Oh my God, what if this? Oh my God, what if that? None of it happened. And after they left, the first day was kind of rough, but after they left, I felt better than I felt when I was worrying about it before they left. And the days just flew by, and that was over a year ago. Went there, got the t-shirt, brought home the postcards, and it's old news. So the second time it happened, the third time it happened, I knew what to expect. Anytime you go through something for the first time, you're going to have worry. This other lady I was watching on YouTube, sometimes I feel like I might be one of the only guys with agoraphobia. Anyway, this other lady I was watching on YouTube was talking about going to Walmart and, having a list, and because she wanted to stay in specific areas of the store, because you got to have some sort of control, and I know all about that. I've done that. I can relate. And it's so important that we we know we're out there, you know, because honestly, my neighbor 8 houses down from me could be agoraphobic, and we would never know it. We would never know it because we're not out. We're not social butterflies, you know? We're not out mingling, and you know, life's a little bit harder because you're not surrounding yourself with friends. You're sitting at home dwelling on things that no one should have to dwell on. Just the fact that you've made it to this point in your life and you're still alive, you defied your odds. You defied the odds that you put on yourself, your limitations. You beat them because you were sure that there was hundreds of other times that you had to do things in your life, and you couldn't see any possible way of you getting through it, and somehow or another, just like me, we got through it. Look, I'm not a doctor, and doctors haven't been able to help me. As you can tell by my channel name, I put all my faith in God. When I go somewhere, I know I'm not alone because God is omnipresent. God is with me. God is, you know, telling me I can do it. With God, you could move mountains. But, you know, he'll give you a shovel. He ain't going to do it for you. But I can tell you one thing. The things I've been going through the past few years, I'm a lot stronger of a person than I ever gave myself credit for. I'm not going to talk about it on here. It's not appropriate. But, there are things that I just never even thought there was a possibility of it happening that, you know, have happened in my life that have been negative. And, you know, one of my own friends, my best friend, my next door neighbor, told me, you know, he's an atheist, you know, and he told me I am not a good poster boy for God, you know, because of all the issues and all the problems I'm going through and everything, you know, where's God in your life? Man, if God wasn't in my life, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't. There's no way. But through the trials that I've been through, I can look back and be like, oh my God, I remember the day that, you know, this happened. And I thought to myself, my life as I know it is over. I'm going to be institutionalized, you know, and that didn't happen. And I'm not certifiable. None of us are. Agoraphobia, you know, I mean, there might be a few people out there that aren't on here for agoraphobia, which is my main focus because it's what I've suffered with for so long. It might be a little crazy, you know, that's all right. Don't rock and roll and rappers brag about being crazy. Just embrace who you are. I know I'm going all over the place, but I have so much to say and I have no script. I don't script this, man. I do this because I like it. And if I throw a script in here, then it's going to turn into work. I'm going to have to edit this, though, because I'm all over the place. But just, you know, it's just like I got something to say. And it ain't one thing. It ain't, I want to focus on agoraphobia and crossing your boundary line, or I want to focus on, you know, agoraphobia and making friends, or I don't want to focus on anything. Today is May 2nd or May 3rd. I'm not sure which day it is. One of the lovely things of being on disability and not having a job. I know it's Tuesday. It's garbage day. But, these are just the things that are on my mind. And, you know, if I'm going to vlog, I hate typing. I hate writing. I'm going to ramble a little bit, which means I'm going to have to open up Windows Movie Maker and edit some of this garbage out. But join a support group if you're not already in one. I am not a moderator for the Agoraphobia Time to Escape, or I'm not sure. I know they changed the name not too long ago, but it's one of the biggest agoraphobic groups on Facebook, and the support there is just absolutely amazing. But yeah, I'm not a moderator. I'm not a founder. I'm just a member. There's no money that they pay me for, plugging them or anything. I'm plugging them because I know it's helped me. And I know it could help you, because the main thing it shows you is you are not alone. On YouTube, you can post a video and you can get 5 views in a month, and you just think nobody cares or nobody's watching, or what. You know, you know what you got to go through just to get seen on YouTube? I mean, to be taken seriously and to get, rated up high and all that other stuff. It's a job. It really is. And that's not what this is to me. If it was, there'd be I want to say a skit, a script, planned out and everything. And I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because I want to look back at my own videos when I'm having a rough day. I'm doing it because I want people to understand what their family and loved ones who are dealing with this, what they go through. I want to share some techniques that worked with me, and I want to watch your videos, and I want to see what techniques worked for you and implement them. And, I really want some sort of a community. I want these people that I see crying their eyes out on YouTube to know they are not alone. They are not the only ones out there feeling this way. There's people that are better off. There's people that are worse off. And even if you are the worst case of agoraphobia in America, in the UK, in the world, someone out there has it worse than you. I mean, don't look at yourself as a victim. We live in a society now that kind of promotes being a victim. And I don't want to be a victim. When you were a kid, did you grow up, fantasizing in your head, watching He-Man or whatever? Did you want to be He-Man or She-Ra, or did you want to be the person they were saving? Get rid of the victim mentality. Are we victims of agoraphobia? Yes, but agoraphobia only has the power over us that we give it by not fighting against it, by not challenging it. We need to fight. Our lives are being invaded by false thoughts, by the enemy, by a spirit of fear, whatever you want to call it. And I read the book, and I know who wins. We all make mistakes. There's no such thing as a perfect Christian. And if you meet someone who says they are the perfect Christian, chances are they're more like the Pharisees. And if you read the gospel, you know how Jesus felt about the Pharisees. Just do your best. Do your best. You're going to fall behind. You're going to lose some battles. You're going to win some battles. Take advantage of those wins and don't dwell on the losses. This war is winnable. People have come out on the other side. we will come out on the other side.